Good evening. Welcome to Biological Foundations. I'm your host, Rashada Gordon. For today's segment, I will discuss antibiotics. Control of infectious disease has been a major concern of public health and continues to remain a major concern of public health to this very day. There are countries that are underdeveloped, which is a major culprit of many of the world's infectious diseases. Infectious disease are caused by bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. They can be transported by a number of vectors, including insects, worms, and other tropical parasites. Mary Wilson, MD, of Harvard Medical School, wrote a paper that demonstrates how travel and the emergence of infectious disease correlates. She discovered that many factors contribute to the emergence of infectious disease and remains a potent force in regarding the subject. Now, I'm aware that there are many types of infectious disease that are not limited to geographic boundaries and have been known to cause worldwide pandemics, including plague, smallpox, and influenza. But today, I will review concerns such as what are the primary public health concerns for antibiotic use today? Should there be a ban on certain antibacterial products? Why or why not? Who's responsible for prevention and control of multi-drug resistant infections, and is enough being done to curb them? Are we at risk of running out of effective antibiotics in the future? Why or why not? First, I would like to review the definition of antibiotics. Antibiotic is a medicine given to treat an infection caused by bacteria. It targets bacteria, fungi, and parasites. However, it's not effective against viruses because viruses cannot be treated. Only the symptoms of a virus can be treated until the virus has run its course. If you have an infection, it's important to know whether it's caused by a bacteria or a virus. Although antibiotics target bacteria, overuse of antibiotics can cause resistance. This brings me to my first question. What are the primary public health concerns for antibiotic use today? One major concern is antibiotic resistance. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention defines antibiotic or antimicrobial resistance as the ability of microbes to resist the effects of drugs, which means the germs are not killed and their growth is not stopped. Although some people are at greater risk than others, no one is omitted. Infections with resistant organisms are difficult to treat and requires costly and sometimes toxic alternatives. Another concern that many people ask is, should there be a ban on certain antibacterial products? Why or why not? Some people say yes for the following reasons. Number one, antibacterial soaps are no more effective than the conventional soap and water. According to the Deputy Director of the Food and Drug Administration's Drug Center, Sandra Queter, suspect there are a lot of consumers who assume that by using antibacterial soap product, they are protecting themselves from illness and protecting their families. However, the Food and Drug Administration does not have any evidence that is really the case over simple soap and water. Number two, antibacterial soaps have the potential to create antibiotic resistance bacteria. Research has been proven that heavy use of antibiotics can cause resistance, which results from a small subset of a bacterial population with a random mutation that allows it to survive exposure to the chemical. However, the soaps do not contain antibiotics, they contain triclosan. There currently isn't enough evidence to recommend avoiding the use of products that contain triclosan, which is an added ingredient to certain soaps, cosmetics, cooking, clothing, furniture, and toys to reduce or prevent bacterial contamination. Number three, the soaps could act as endocrine disruptors. A number of studies have found that in animals, triclosan appears to interfere with the body regulation of thyroid hormones because it chemically resembles it enough to bind to its receptor sites. People worry that this can also occur in humans, leading to infertility, artificially advanced early puberty, obesity, and cancer. Number four, the soaps might lead to other health problems. There is enough evidence that children with prolonged exposure to triclosan has a higher chance of developing allergies, including peanut allergies and hay fever. Scientists have speculations that this could result of reduced exposure to bacteria, which could be necessary for proper immune system functioning and development. Number 5, antibacterial soaps are bad for the environment. Plenty of triclosan is used in soap. This means a lot of triclosan is disposed of by drainage. Research has shown that small quantities of chemical can persist after treatment at sewage plants. And once in the environment, the triclosan can disrupt algae's ability to perform photosynthesis. I personally believe that there should only be a ban of antibacterial products if the health of the public is at risk. According to the Food and Drug Administration, they are not removing any antibacterial products or soaps from the market. However, they are asking the manufacturers prove their products' effectiveness or stop making alleged claims. The proposed regulation has no mention that indicates the products must discontinue sales with or without the alleged claims. Furthermore, the new rule that was quoted in 2013 was only a proposal, not a new regulation. Another concern is who's responsible for prevention and control of multi-drug resistant infections, and is enough being done to curb them? One person or organization does not hold sole responsibility for the prevention and control of multi-drug resistant infections. This issue will take the collaboration of organizations and individuals to solve this problem. Physicians should avoid overprescribing and seek alternative methods if needed. And people should try and avoid overusing. The government has the final say in what the public consumes or come in contact with in society by making it available on the market. Their laws alone can have a major impact on everyday life. Another concern that bothers people is, are we at risk of running out of effective antibiotics in the future? Why or why not? Bacteria would inevitably find ways of resisting the antibiotics developed by humans, which is why aggressive action is needed now to keep resistance from developing and prevent the resistance that already exists from spreading. Some companies are constantly pursuing discovery of new antibiotics, but obtaining a regulatory approval is often an obstacle due to the Food and Drug Administration's new standards. The overusage of antibiotic crisis is global, and the lack of development of new antibiotic agents by pharmaceutical companies to address the crisis is challenging. Antibiotic-resistant infections have a great burden on the United States healthcare system and population. It's safe to say that the bacteria will always mutate, and it's our job to stay one step ahead of them in order to provide answers to the problems that they cause to the public. So, today's take-home message is to take antibiotics only when necessary. Avoid asking your doctor for antibiotics for every infection. If you take antibiotics regularly, your body will begin to build a resistance to them and no longer work. Also, try to wash your hands often and vigorously. Scrub them with soap and water. Antibacterial soap is fine, but it's not mandatory. Finally, be aware of what you touch. Everything has germs, but no one has superhuman powers to distinguish between the good and the bad ones. And that concludes today's segment. Thanks for tuning in to Biological Foundations of Public Health. I am Rashada Gordon, and have a good night.